What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I'm gonna be calling some people out. Not like name dropping anybody, but just people that are like, oh, the reason why I'm giving you attitude and disrespecting you and being rude to you is because I've only had a few hours of sleep and I haven't had my coffee type people. It's those type of people where I'm like, stay far away from me. I don't want to share no memories with you. I don't want nothing to do with you. Period. Like, it's people like that. So here's the thing. Here's the reason why I'm like, maybe I'm just a different breed. Like, cause I'll have like a few hours of sleep. I'll have no Red Bull for the day. I would, what other things like no energy. I'm just like overall just sitting in the house, like, not doing nothing. And to me, that's like an unproductive day. The only person that I can really be mad at is myself. But I'm not going to look at people and when they're trying to, crack jokes and laugh and all that type of stuff, if they trying to do that with me and I'm pushing them away, like, that wasn't funny. That was a dumb joke. Like, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that because like they know that I do that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, we're gonna share laughs, we're gonna share memories, we're gonna have a good time. But I will never ever in my life, because of my own personal problems, treat somebody in a bad way. So there was a time though where I had said something on social media. I'll do that from time to time. I'll say some things on social media, make some people upset, and the one person was arguing with me, and then their excuse on why they were arguing with me was because they only had a few hours of sleep. And I'm like, am I supposed to care about the certain hours of sleep that you had? Like, I get that, like, probably every other day. Like, even last night, I didn't go to sleep until 6 a.m. Like, usually I'm, like, out by, like, maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., like, between them hours and stuff, But even then, like, okay, I'll wake up, and that's honestly, throughout this whole, like, pandemic and quarantine and all that stuff, that has honestly been my life. My sleep schedule is all messed up. All messed up. No naps today, none of that. Like, I'm just up whole day working on Twitch streams, TikTok videos, YouTube videos, of all different types of sorts. Like, I find something to do to, like, overall keep me productive. And I feel like that's like one of the reasons I feel like people act like that is they're not productive enough. Like, they don't really know what they want to do in life. Who am I to make that assumption? But at the end of the day, it's like, who are you to, like, give me attitude? Like, it's people like that where I'm like, hey, yo, look, just don't talk to me. Like, like, reversing that attitude, like, just don't talk to me, please. Like, anything you guys say, just keep it to yourself. Or just, whatever. But I'm like, I ain't trying to hear that. I don't care about that, all of that stuff. So, but yeah, I'm like, man, it's just, people like that. I've always, that's like my whole life. I've always known people like that. I remember there was this one girl I went to school with where she was like that. And it was like even before her, there was like other people I went to school that was like that. And I'm like, man, why do you hang out with people if you know you're gonna have an attitude? Like, at the end of the day, you could say it's because of this, because of, like, maybe if I have like some context on why you have an attitude, then okay. But it's like, if you just have it, if you're one of those people where you're like, oh, I don't know why I'm upset, I don't know why I have an attitude, don't talk to me, please. Don't talk to me. You're in that category of toxic people. So toxic, that ain't good for the lungs and stuff. Like, it causes me to have breathing issues. And so when just toxic people are in the area, like, I ain't got no asthma inhaler, like, my chest, it starts tightening up and things. Like, I'm not trying to go through all of that. So you want those, like, attitude people, like, please just, stay away from me. Because I'm like, my thing is, like, I love being around people where it's like, even if they're shy, I love to, like, make people laugh. I love to crack jokes. I love to, get reactions out of people. Positive and, good reactions. But, like, that just, like, even if I am, like, being myself, which I'm, like, cracking jokes and all of that, where it's like, but a person, they're like, oh, no, you shouldn't be cracking jokes. We should all just be mad. We should just all act like Batman. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Batman done had a couple of good laughs before. Like, nah, he did. What was that one animated Batman movie where he was laughing with Joker? And I'm like, bro, that's a sight to see, even though it's animated. And I'm like, hey, yo, that's some crazy stuff right there. But anyways, I'm like, even he's had some laughs. I'm like, you can have some laughs too. You can drop the attitude stuff, but it's just when people, when they come up with like the most pettiest excuses on why they have an attitude, that's why I'm like, if like, that's why I said, if there's like some like if there's like some personal like issues going on in your life, I'm like, okay, I understand you. I put myself in your shoes. I'm like, oh, okay, well now I understand where they're coming from. I most likely have been acting the same way. Even though I'm like, my thing is like, I've been in situations where I've been down and out, depressed, sad, upset, angry, like, wanting to just, blow up, like a bunch of just blow up myself. And then, well, not like actually blow up, but just like, just have like a nothing but like a rage, go to one of those like, what are those like rage rooms and just destroy it. Like, I just wanted, like quote unquote explode, and if you understand what I'm saying, but not like actually, some like on some weird stuff where I strap like a device to myself and press the button. Not that type of exploding, okay? Don't get me don't get me confused. Don't get yourself confused. But overall, like jokes aside, I've been in like I feel like with me, I've been in the worst of the worst situations, and I've had to like turn around and see people like in a few minutes. So there's been times where I've been at work and I've just overall like having a bad day, having issues with employees, having issues with customers, having issues with my bosses. What else? Might be having like some YouTube issues, might be having some at home issues. Overall, at the end of the day, a person is going to have issues. That is life. That is just pure life right there. People are going to have issues. How you handle it, like, and that's what I was talking on like in the jealousy in our episode, this last episode. But it's like how you handle your life. I feel like if you handle it in a good way, you don't have to worry about things. You don't have to worry about, okay, like, I dealt with this. How am I gonna act towards people, when I see them? So it's like, okay, you going to work and you dealing with customers. You really think a customer? It's like when they go in there, you really think they want to deal with somebody that has an attitude? Like, that's like one thing I really just don't like when I go into places, is when a person has an attitude. I'm like, what did I do to you? Like, that's what I be wanting to say. But I'm like, you know what? I ain't got the time for that. I'm just in here to get my belongings and get up out of here. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, you want to have an attitude? That is on you. But that's why I'm like, when there's going to be a day, right? There's going to be a day where I got nothing but time. And I'm going to be like, what's wrong with you? Like honestly, like not like I'm being dead serious. Like what is causing this? And if they say nothing, I'm like something. It don't like that's one thing for sure. It's like don't be afraid to. I mean, even if it's a random person, like random friend, whoever. But it's like if somebody notices something with you, like tell them. Be honest. Be blunt. If it's me, then I'm like, okay, well then I will go to another place and do my shopping. But dang, it's like I don't want to go into somewhere, right? And this person has an attitude, and I'm just like, and I'm me, like, that's the thing though. I'm like, I know people would probably ask me, well, how am I acting towards this person? I'm like, I act like towards them like I'm just acting towards a friend of mine. I'm cool with them. I ain't gonna be like, hey, go see if you have a size 10 in these Jordans in the back. Like being disrespectful and stuff. Like, no, I'm not doing stuff like that, The person approaches me, they're like, hey, how's your day going? I'm like, my day's going good. How about yours? Now, there are at times where I'm like, I'm just kind of content to myself and things, and I don't go out and just be starting conversations. If a person does start a conversation with me, I guess if I, it ain't even like so much as an attitude thing. Like I am a little bit antisocial a little bit. I'm trying to like, work my way out of that and stuff. So I'm working my way. It's like to where it's like if a person approaches me, I'm like, it ain't just a quick conversation. Like, no, I stand there and like, talk with them, make their day better if they having a bad day and stuff. But excuse me. But yeah, I'm like working my way around that. But no, like that's one thing for sure. I'm like, when I go into places, I never treat people in a disrespectful way. Like I can't even think of I think the last time I did some stuff like that, and it wasn't even my fault on why I was being disrespectful to the guy, but it was years ago. I think I mentioned that story too, but it was years ago when I was a kid and the video game Saints Row the Third was coming out. And so I went in there to go get it. And this guy, he's like really trying to like push off that GameStop's reward card on me. And I'm like, fam, I did not come up here for no GameStop's card. You know, it's like, why would I come? My thing is like, why would I come out here this far, right? This far, you know, asked by begged. I can't remember, did I trade in games or did I ask my parents for the money? Either way, I'm like, at the time I couldn't drive, so I'm like, I asked my parents, okay, to drive me out there, right? I've made it this far. I have the money for this video game. I played and enjoyed the crap out of Saints Row 2. So you think for a second I came all the way up to this GameStops, the only GameStops in the area to have Saints Row the Third. You think I came out here this far to get a silver GameStops card? And now I don't have the money to get Saints Row the Third? Bruh, no. Just give me my game, take my money, go about your day. But he was really getting upset over the fact that I'm like, and then it was making me upset because I'm like, fam, did you really think somebody came up here for a GameStop's card? I didn't get one the time before. I didn't get one the time before that. I didn't get the one time before. I actually never even bought the GameStop silver card. My mom had got it for me one time. I think it was a time she bought me a game. I can't remember what was the occasion. But anyway, she bought me the game, and then in the bag was the silver card, and I was like, you realize you got this card, right? This is the card that I always deny that GameStops. You got, well, all right. So I'm like, I guess so yeah, after that, I was so happy after having that card, because I'm like, dang, them people at GameStop, they be crazy about that sometimes. They ain't really like that anymore. I don't even think they really care for the cards and stuff. If anything, they just ask you for a phone number. But yeah, I was like, man, they were getting carried. But that guy was crazy. Now, there was a time I remember somebody came in there and asked him for a Resident Evil game, and he told them, don't get that one, get the older one, because that one was better. I'm like, fam, do you really think somebody came all the way up here just so they can hear your criticism on the video game? Sell them the game. Like, man, you out here causing problems for people, and it's like, bruh, ain't nobody came out here for all of that. So yeah, that guy, he was weird. That guy was a straight up weirdo. I don't know what his problem was, but anyways, but yeah, I'm like, here's the thing, talking more on this attitude stuff. Like, I don't care how many hours of sleep you got. I don't care if you didn't have your coffee, your Red Bull, your tea, your pre-workouts, whatever it is that you take in the morning to get your day started, and like, to be really honest and be blunt, I don't care who made you upset. Unless it's like some personal issues. Like, if it's like some family stuff, then I'm like, okay, I'll let that one slide. Because, I feel like everybody at times, you'll have those moments in your family where it's like things just kind of get a little hectic. So that I will understand, But even then, and I'm like, who am I, though, to tell a person, like, how, you should have an attitude, or these are the situations you should have an attitude, these are the situations. Overall, at the end of the day, you shouldn't have an attitude towards people that ain't even giving you attitude. So if it's a person giving you attitude, then yes, give them the most amount of attitude back. You can do that, but what is it going to do? What is it going to do for you? What is it going to change? What is it going to prove? That you can be petty just like them. So, at the end of the day, then and I've done this, people have given me attitude. And you know what? It ain't even so much as a kill them with kindness type thing. I'm like, I'm just neutral. So if a person, let's say if I go into Foot Locker, right? And I ask them, hey, do you have these Jordans in this size? Like, we don't have them. Like, if they approach me like that, I'm like, okay, all right. Now I just put the shoe back, look around a little bit longer, go about my business, all right? I'm like, if they say, hey, have a nice day, I'm like, you too. But I will not be that person where if they do say that to me and then I don't say anything back, can't do that. Like, my thing is, like, if it's a person that I know I'm chill with, or it's like, if this is like a constant thing, though, then you know what I do? I stay away from that person. Like, and that's what it's like overall saying, like, if they, if I go back in that Foot Locker again, or shoe store, whatever, and they're like that. I feel like I said if I went into GameStops and asked if they had this Jordan in it. I don't even know what I said at first, but y'all know what I was saying, okay? Like, but anyways, but no, if I go into Foot Locker ask for a shoe and then they say they don't have it, but they got an attitude, I go in there another time, they have an attitude, and I go in there, I give them the 3-strike rule. They have an attitude each and every time when I go in there. It ain't meant for me to be in that place. Not until they get transferred or transferred or sent somewhere else. I'm like, okay, then I go back in there. But I'm like, I feel like to just purposely keep walking because even I've dealt with customers like that at my old job where it's like they've had attitudes for no reason, and I'm like, why do you keep coming here? You know, because I'm like now at this point where I'm like, I don't want to talk with you. You know, like that's how you know like a person. It's like, man. I just heard like a noise outside. I don't know what it was. But anyways, my thing is, if you know you keep coming back and forth to a place, right? Having nothing but an attitude. I'm like, fam, stop coming here. Dang. Nobody my thing is just like you have to realize like now I caught on to you having an attitude. So if it's an at home situation, I'm like, okay, keep that stuff at home. I don't care, bruh. I'm like, I'm telling you, my thing is like, look, I've dealt with problems at my house. I've dealt with problems with my friends. I've dealt with problems literally with probably everybody that I know. And you know what? The next people that I see, so let's say if I have problems with my friends, I'm going back home and I'm seeing my family. I'm not going to be like, oh, I got to give you guys an attitude now because of some friends that I had beef with. Or if it's, coworkers or bosses, employees, whatever. Like I ain't gonna come back home and then, give off an attitude because it's like my family ain't did nothing to me to deserve that. So if I am mad, I will tell them why I'm mad. I'm like, hey, I just had me a bad day at work and things, so it's, it was a little hectic today. They asked me why, I'm gonna talk on it. I'm most likely gonna get mad all over again, but I'm not gonna get mad at my family. And that's same the other way around. If I'm having issues at home and I go to work, I'm like, dang, I'm like having a bad day, beefing with the family and stuff. Oh, what's up? Probably gonna tell the story, get mad all over again. But customers, co-workers, bosses, whoever, I'm not gonna give them an attitude. There's no reason for that. That's what people just need to sit down and realize. When you're giving out attitudes, if y'all have listened to this whole episode and have not caught on to what I said, I'm gonna say it slower. I'm gonna say it to you in a simple term. Giving people an attitude is not normal, especially when they've done nothing to you. If you don't understand that, admit yourself into a hospital. I don't know what to tell you, but anyways, yeah, see if you need to be diagnosed with something. You might have something going on in the brain, and it might require some medication of some sort. So, but anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. One thing I've been noticing is that some of my podcast episodes have been inspiring on certain platforms. So just know that I will be getting those episodes. I will be getting like all my episodes like out and things to overall like just getting them out, so it's on YouTube on our YouTube channel and things, so you guys ain't got to trip about nothing. I'm slowly working on that, but there's that. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Wait a minute. Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, okay, Facebook. Okay, I felt like I was saying some things repeatedly. But anyways, yeah, at TMossBoss. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.